Kyle Shanahan. Wow, what an offensive innovator if it ever existed in the game of football. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Kyle Shanahan as he is under immense pressure to succeed this season for the 49ers. With the 49ers moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo, it is now expected that the 49ers will end up being NFC favorites since Jimmy Garoppolo was considered to be the weak link for that team. However, the 49ers still have questions as to what will happen at the quarterback position since there is not a clear answer at QB1 yet. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Will Kyle Shanahan finally become a Super Bowl champion this season? And honestly, the answer to that is no. I'm sorry, Kyle Shanahan. Even though you're one of my favorite coaches, the answer to that is no. I don't see you becoming a Super Bowl champion this season. And I say that because I look at the 49ers quarterback situation. I'm thinking, how will any coach even get any production out of that quarterback group? I understand that Brock Purdy played really well down the stretch last season for the San Francisco 49ers, but he has only played in about 8, 9, 10 games in his career. And it's not exactly like Brock Purdy lit the world on fire. Sure, he won every start that he was in, minus the Eagles game where he got injured, but it's not like Brock Purdy was throwing for 300 yards or 4 touchdowns a game. Brock Purdy was playing as a solid game manager, and as a solid game manager, sometimes those tendencies tend to catch him to you sooner rather than later. Look at Jimmy Garoppolo in his first 7 starts. He played like a solid game manager, but guess what? He kept winning all those games at the beginning of his career, and that made everybody think, oh my goodness, he's the second coming of Tom Brady. And then what happened? He ended up becoming a mediocre quarterback. Yeah, his win-loss record might say that he's a great quarterback, but in actual play, Jimmy Garoppolo was a mediocre quarterback. Who's to say the same thing won't happen for Brock Purdy? Also, for Brock Purdy, he's going to be coming off of elbow surgery. Any quarterback that is coming off of a serious elbow injury, they typically tend to have their careers decline down. I could see that happening with Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy gets back into that lineup, which I'm sure that he will, then Brock Purdy is going to struggle coming back into that lineup because of the fact that he doesn't necessarily have a great arm to begin with, and the fact that he's coming off of an elbow injury. Those kind of quarterbacks that get injured with the elbow, they typically tend to fall off with their play. Look at Carson Palmer, look at Jake Delhomme, look at Ben Roethlisberger. 3 quarterbacks that were involved with Tommy John surgery. And also there was Nick Mullins as well, although Nick Mullins was more of a career backup anyways. But the point of the story is guys that are coming off of elbow injuries, they don't perform at the same level. I expect Brock Purdy to regress in terms of his play. Now, do I think Brock Purdy is trash? No, I don't think he's trash at all. I actually think he can play at somewhat of a high level. But Brock Purdy is coming off a serious injury, and I cannot bank all my fortunes in on Brock Purdy staying healthy for 17 games. It's really hard to play in the National Football League for 17 straight games in a season. It's just really hard to do. I don't care who you are. Whoever does that, I mean, good job to you. You're the ultimate Iron Man. That's kind of how I look at that. And then, of course, I look at their backup quarterback situation. I don't feel good about that situation at all because I'm looking at Trey Lance, a guy that the San Francisco 49ers gave up 3 first-round picks for, and he hasn't necessarily panned out at a high level. Every time Trey Lance has played, he's managed to get banged up, and even when he didn't get banged up, it's not exactly like he was playing great football anyways. Trey Lance was playing like a project. The fact that Mr. Irrelevant, which is Brock Purdy, was playing significantly better football than Trey Lance, who was a number 3 overall pick, that should ring some alarm bells to people that, hey, maybe this Trey Lance guy isn't as good as what we thought him to be. And I like Trey Lance coming out of the draft. I thought Trey Lance was a solid quarterback that had really good physical tools, and that if the 49ers just fixed up his footwork and his mechanics, he was going to be a really good quarterback. But since Trey Lance keeps getting injured all the time, it's kind of hard to improve on the football field when you're spending your time in rehab instead of being on the football field. And then, of course, their other backup quarterback is Sam Darnold. Any team that has Sam Darnold knows that they don't really got a shot to win. I understand that Sam Darnold can show solid stretches of play, but when the stakes are its highest, when the pressure is at its highest as well, Sam Darnold doesn't show up. Sam Darnold wilts under the pressure. Sam Darnold doesn't show up in big games. I saw him in Carolina for 17 games, and all he did was front run on bad teams. Whenever Sam Darnold was put expectations on him to succeed, what happened? What happened was Sam Darnold struggled to come up with much of an answer for anything. There was a game where Sam Darnold started an entire game and only had 5 completions for 43 yards. That is unacceptable in today's league. I don't care what league you play in. If you're playing like that as a quarterback and you only have 43 passing yards by the end of a football game, you honestly don't deserve to be a starter in the National Football League. And when I look at this 49ers team is going to be unstable at the quarterback position as well. I know that they got Deebo Samuel. I know they got George Kittle. I know they got Christian McCaffrey. I know they still have a really strong defense. And I understand that Kyle Shanahan is one of the best coaches in all of football. But this San Francisco 49ers team is going to be crippled at the quarterback position. Complain about Jimmy Garoppolo all you want, but at least Jimmy Garoppolo was an NFL starter. As for Brock Purdy, yeah, he might be an NFL starter, but we need to see a bigger sample size before I'm convinced that Brock Purdy is that guy. And then, of course, with Trey Lance and Sam Darnold, they haven't really shown me much of anything that makes me think, okay, those guys are going to be star players at the quarterback position. And I know some people are thinking, hey man, it's the weak NFC. Anything can happen. And I could say, yeah, you're right. Anything can happen in the NFC. But what I'm going to say is I don't trust the quarterback situation for the San Francisco 49ers. I understand that Kyle Shanahan is probably thinking, oh man, if I win a Super Bowl with those three guys as my quarterbacks, think about the legacy that I'm going to have in my NFL history. Because I won a Super Bowl with a rotation of Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, and Trey Lance. I mean, if anybody could do it, it's Kyle Shanahan, but I don't think he can be able to pull off with that group just because of the fact that that quarterback group is not going to be good at any team that he goes to. Brock Purdy would have been a nobody if he didn't have Kyle Shanahan as his head coach, all right? And I know some people are saying, hey, look at what happened when Brock Purdy left the NFC Championship game. The San Francisco 49ers were dead as a team. My response to that is, yeah, of course that team would be dead in the water. If Josh Johnson is your team's quarterback, that means you might as well forfeit the game because Josh Johnson is a career veteran journeyman that has played for a billion teams in the NFL. Josh Johnson is a nobody. I never said Brock Purdy was trash. I just said that he's unproven. But unproven is better than whatever Josh Johnson is, because whatever Josh Johnson has proven in the NFL is that he doesn't belong on an NFL field, plain and simple. I don't know why this man isn't out of the league yet, because Josh Johnson is garbage at the quarterback position. But when I look at the San Francisco 49ers team, I don't see this team winning more than 9 games this year. Their schedule is a lot tougher than what people are making it seem like, because I'm looking at the fact that they played the Pittsburgh Steelers, they played the Jacksonville Jaguars, they played the Cincinnati Bengals this year, they played the Cleveland Browns, they played the Philadelphia Eagles. I even think that the San Francisco 49ers could even finish 5-1 within their division. But even with that record, I don't think the San Francisco 49ers are going to be a great football team outside of playing against the NFC West because of the fact that they're not a great football team. This 49ers team is going to be struggling playing against AFC opponents, and with that being said, that's going to cause the 49ers record to significantly regress from last season. Last season, the 49ers won 13 games. This year, I got them winning 9 games this year. Let me tell y'all who they're going to lose to. They're going to lose to the Steelers. They're going to lose to the Cowboys. They're going to lose to the Browns. They're going to lose to the Bengals. They're going to lose to the Jaguars. They're going to lose to the Seahawks. They're going to lose to the Eagles, and they might even lose to the Washington Commanders if the Commanders are as good as what I am thinking that they are. The point of the story is that the San Francisco 49ers are playing against a bunch of playoff-led teams, and that's going to be a struggle for them because Pittsburgh is a team I think can be contending for the playoffs. I think the Cowboys are a playoff team, even though I think Dak Prescott is overrated as a quarterback, and they're playing against the Cleveland Browns, who, even though I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, guess what, though? They got Deshaun Watson at the quarterback position. Deshaun Watson, whether you like him or not off the field, you guys have to admit that Deshaun Watson can play on the football field. But then I'm also looking at the fact that they played the Bengals and the Jaguars combined with the bye week right in between. That's going to be a rough stretch for the 49ers because of the fact that the Bengals and the Jaguars are elite football teams this year. Same thing with the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are a sleeper team in the NFC. Same thing with the Philadelphia Eagles. And if the Washington Commanders perform to a level that I expect them to, then I think the Commanders can absolutely beat the San Francisco 49ers. This 49ers team has a really tough schedule, and they play a lot of good football teams outside of the NFC West. I don't care if Kyle Shanahan is the coach or not. Even though Kyle Shanahan is awesome as a head coach, and hopefully I can grow up to be a coach like Kyle Shanahan, guess what though? No coach is going to be able to out-scheme these kind of teams that the 49ers are having to go up against, because those teams are really good. That's a gauntlet schedule that I just gave y'all for the losses that the San Francisco 49ers might suffer this year. This 49ers team is talented, but they have a brutal schedule, and the quarterback situation is unresolved. Now, if Brock Purdy returns back to fully healthy form and he ends up playing all 17 games, okay, fine. The San Francisco 49ers, they're probably going to go ahead and win the division because Brock Purdy is a good quarterback, although he is unproven. But if Brock Purdy doesn't come back the same from last season, then I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to end up regressing big time, and that this is a team that will only go 9-8 and lose in the NFC wildcard round to the Seattle Seahawks. I do think this 49ers team has talent, but they play a brutal schedule and they don't have answers at the quarterback position. So as to answer the question for whether Kyle Shanahan will finally become a Super Bowl champion this season, the answer to that question is no, because of quarterback instability and the fact that they play a brutal schedule. Yeah, they have a talented team, but they don't have a talented quarterback room. And in today's NFL, you need a talented quarterback room to win. Either that, or you need to be a surprise team that has an elite defense, somebody like the Washington Commanders, for an example. But the point of the story is it's really hard to repeat sustained success, particularly when you have instability at the quarterback situation. So that is why Kyle Shanahan will not become a Super Bowl champion, as they will underachieve expectations this season. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the Dustin Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Dustin Tran and that Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter at Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.